Hello and welcome to another edition of the Term 3 newsletter. It's been a wonderful start to the term and I'm constantly reminded of the incredible energy, diversity and sense of community that exists at Santa Sofia Catholic College. One of the particular highlights has been the opportunity to strengthen our international connections with Japan. Now, over the past few weeks, we've welcomed students and staff from Koka High School, our sister school over in Japan. And we've also welcomed students from Kaimi High School from Osaka. Now, it was particularly special to welcome the students from Kaimi because we visited them last year on our trip to Japan. These exchanges are so much more than visiting another country or school. They provide our young people, our students, with the opportunities to build friendships, to learn about different cultures, and develop a deeper understanding of our place in an increasingly connected world. For our Year 12 students, the focus has understandably shifted towards their HSC trial examinations. The trials are an important milestone, but also provide our students with the opportunity to reflect on how they are preparing for the HSC. I hope that the test of limited scope examinations, which was undertaken towards the end of term 2, have given the class of 2026 greater familiarity with exam conditions and the expectations of the HSC. The feedback provided from the test of limited scope exams are being put into practice, and I wish all our Year 12 students every success as they undertake their trials and encourage them to see these examinations not simply as a measure of what they know, but as an opportunity to learn, refine their approach, and to build confidence. It has also been wonderful to see our youngest students celebrating 100 days of kindergarten. The enthusiasm of our kindergarten students was infectious, and it was wonderful to see such a large turnout from our families, which demonstrates the strong connection and partnership between our college and the community. These are the moments that create lasting memories for our children and make school a special place. Our Year 7 students have also enjoyed their camp at Narrabeen Sports and Recreation Centre. Now, camps, in my opinion, are an important part of the transition to secondary school, providing our students with the opportunity to step outside their comfort zones, meet new people and form new friendships. They also provide our staff, our teachers, with valuable insights into the emerging leadership qualities of our young people. I have been particularly pleased to hear about the way our students supported and encouraged one another throughout the experience. And then there was Book Week. Without doubt, the Book Week parade was one of the great highlights of the term so far. Seeing our students and staff embrace the spirit of the occasion was a wonderful reminder of the joy that books, stories, and imagination can bring to our lives. We're also incredibly fortunate to welcome the talented Tanya Doko to Santa Sofia Catholic College, and her visit added something special to our celebrations. As I reflect on the past few weeks, what strikes me is the breadth of opportunities our students are experiencing. From international exchanges, HSC preparation, to camps, celebrations, literature, and the simple joy of being together as a community. These experiences are an important part of what we mean when we talk about educating the whole person at Santa Sofia Catholic College. They challenge our students broaden their horizons, create memories, and most importantly, help them grow into young people we hope they will become. I am incredibly proud of our students and grateful to our staff and families and the wider community who continue to make these experiences possible. There is certainly much to celebrate at Santa Sophia Catholic College, and we look forward to another exciting term ahead. Bye for now.
Hi everyone. Today for Student Spotlight, I'm very privileged to be interviewing 3 of the 9 students who accompanied me on our Catholic Mission Immersion to Fiji. Thank you for joining us, Xavier, Isabella and Abbey. Bula!
Bula!
So we went on an immersion. What does immersion mean? What does it actually mean to go on immersion?
I think within a country and within holidays, wherever you go, there's 2 sides to a place. There's the people that live there, and then there's the tourist aspect of it. A lot of our holidays are tourist-sided, and we experience what Fiji or any country wants us to see. But I think our trip and immersions as a whole are rather experiencing life and what it's like to live there as not a tourist, not a person going on a holiday, and how life and what it revolves around.
Amazing. It's almost like walking in the footsteps of the locals.
Exactly.
Wonderful. Thanks, Xavier. So Tava Uni, how would you describe Tava Uni to someone who's never been there before?
Well, Tava Uni is the 3rd biggest island in the Fijian Islands. So to get there, it was an early flight out of Sydney to then go to Kindy. And then we had a shorter flight to then go to Tava Uni, but it was in a little plane. So it was a bit daunting at first, but once we were in there, it was okay.
Yeah, amazing. What an experience, hey?
Yeah.
And Isabella, what's Tava Uni like? How would you describe the nature there?
Tava Uni is known as the Garden Island in all the islands of Fiji. So it was so bright and colourful, and all the plants, they just surrounded the island, and the local community definitely took care of them. You could definitely see it. And the oceans, they have some of the most beautiful reefs, such as the Rainbow Reef. And yeah, it was just so beautiful.
Awesome. And what about the communities of Tava Uni?
I think the hospitality there, as soon as you get to Fiji, is amazing. And especially with the schools, everyone's so interested in talking to us and interested in our lives and what we have to say. And I think that's really a leaf we can take out of the book in terms of just empathy, kindness, and general wanting to speak to people.
Wonderful, thank you. So, was it what you expected? In terms of expectations versus reality, did it match what you were expecting, or was it completely unexpected?
I think that, well, personally, I didn't really know what to expect, as I had never been on an immersion before. But I knew that Fiji was a very beautiful place, and I had heard from other people that have been on immersions that it's so life-changing, and it definitely was. I now see people and things in a different light than I did before I came.
Wonderful. And what about you, Isabella? Expectations versus reality.
I didn't expect anything. I was going into the trip thinking we weren't really going to connect with the students as much as we did and the community as much as we did. And to see how welcoming they were to us, it was so lovely to be able to connect with the students the way we did. I definitely did not expect that.
Awesome. Xavier, did you want to add on?
Definitely had an idea of what Fiji's like because I've been there before, but this time it's not as a tourist, it's as a person living with the people. And I didn't know what to expect, and it was definitely a good shock rather than a bad shock.
Awesome. Now, we were there as part of a Catholic mission trip, so a big element of the trip was around the idea of putting our faith into action. So what were some of the service activities that we participated in while we were away?
One of the days we went to a pearl farm, and we got to see how they grew their oysters to then get the pearls, and then we also got to experience seeing local women using the remaining oyster shells to make jewellery and other little things that allowed them to get an income. So it like provided back to the community, and I think that was like very cool to see because you don't usually see that back here.
Awesome. Did you want to add on what other experiences that we did, Isabella?
The first full day that we were there, we went snorkeling around all the reefs surrounding Tavernier Island. We also planted some coral back into the reef.
Why did we do coral planting?
To give back to the community and just to learn about how they take care of their reefs, like how the local community does.
That reef's pretty important, isn't it? Yeah, for the fish and the ecosystem there. Alright, what other faith in action opportunities did we participate in?
So we attended 2 schools, and on our first day we attended the Holy Cross College Mass. And I think we can all agree that singing was amazing. It really conveyed their faith, and we could see it through song. After that, we kind of spent a day as students in the schools, and I think something I noticed is that the teachers are really passionate about the education of the students, but also the students prioritize their connections and friendships really strongly as well. So I think that's something really special. And we also played sports and went to their classrooms for the day, so I think that was really cool.
So you get to actually immerse yourself in the life of the student.
Yeah, that was cool.
Awesome. We also visited a farm. What did we learn about farming in Fiji?
How sustainable they are there. They really use all of their resources that they have and they put it to good use.
Put it into action.
Yeah.
To support the local life there.
Yeah, definitely.
Amazing. What can we learn about what we experienced in Fiji and apply back to our life here in Australia?
I think that we can, I think especially for Mass, that we can learn from how they are so faithful and they truly all want to be there and they want to be seen and they want to show their faith. I think that if we can do that here, it'd be really beautiful to see because it was so amazing and so different when we were at Mass with them.
Yeah. So we've been on this amazing trip. There's so much we can learn. Do you feel like we're the same people now that we're back?
Definitely not. I feel like for me, I've really seen how ecologically and sustainable they are over there, and I want to apply that over here. Even just the little things, picking up my rubbish, picking up other people's rubbish that I see floating around.
I think there's definitely an absence of peer pressure there. I think everyone's really happy with each other and really everyone's trusted. And I think that's really great. Also, another thing I noticed was that they take every opportunity that's given to them. And I think that's something we can do as well in Australia. We often are given a lot of opportunities, we don't take them. And if we aren't given them, I think we should go out and look for them in terms of ecological balancing, education, anything.
Wonderful, just embracing every opportunity and being grateful for them. I love that. Thank you for sharing your reflections on our amazing immersion. I'm going to circle back now to what you said at the very beginning. You each picked one word to describe your time in Tavernier. I'm now going to ask you in one sentence to tell us why you picked that word.
I picked inspirational because it inspired me to change how I live my everyday life.
Wonderful.
I picked eye-opening because just seeing how other people live their life in different countries, it's very different to how we live back here. It's just eye-opening in the way that I want to be able to apply what I learned over there back here at home.
Great.
And I think I chose passion because everyone seems to have their own purpose and they feel they have a responsibility for it. I think that's something we can all do here as well.
Great. And would you recommend an immersion to other students? Is it an experience that you would recommend others to take?
Definitely.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, or should I say Vinaka, for joining us on Student Spotlight.
Hi, I'm Blake Bano, a religious education teacher here at Santa Sophia. Jesus Christ spent approximately 33 years on earth. Of that, the Gospels give serious attention to about 3 of those years. In those 3 years, Jesus attributed so many wonderful things to the world. But in those 27 or so years, he spent in a small town, in a workshop with his father, washing his hands, eating food, sleeping, doing it all over again. Christianity calls this point in time the hidden life, and I want to suggest something that is most theologically important to our church. Where God decided most of human life, even his human life. Not in the miracle, not in the extraordinary, but in the ordinary. Ordinary time is the longest liturgical season in our church's year. The word ordinary comes from the word ordinarius, which means ordered or structured time. How weeks are counted throughout the year. So when the church names most of its year ordinary time, she's saying that nothing important is not happening. She's saying rather, this is numbered time, the steady weeks between the great feasts. The Second Vatican Council, in its constitution on the sacred liturgy, Sacrosanctum Concilium, states that across the whole liturgical year, the church unfolds in the mystery of Christ, not only in the great feasts, but as well in the ordinary moments of life. Building on that, the church's official norms for the calendar describes ordinary time precisely as those 33 to 34 weeks outside of the significant feasts of Advent, Christmas, Lent, and Easter, in which the whole church celebrates the mystery of Christ in its fullness, not one particular event of his life, but the whole of it, especially during our Sunday Eucharist. Its colour, fittingly as green, the colour of growth or renewal, symbolises the whole rhythm of ordinary exists for one purpose, to sanctify time itself. So ordinary human days become a place where grace can flow through us and we can flourish. This is a remarkable claim. The church has deliberately set apart the most important time of the year, not to mark it as less important, but to teach us that holiness is built within the ordinary. Perhaps that is the beauty of ordinary time. It is a time of encounter, the encounter of the mystery of Christ in the normality of our lives, in the classroom, in the workplace, at our home, in our relationships, in the very acts of patience, forgiveness, generosity, and love that often go unnoticed. Ordinary time, therefore, is not simply time between important seasons. It is time spent living in the light of Christ's resurrection. If there's one thing this season has taught me, it's that the ordinary days aren't the ones we're waiting to get through. They're the ones we're actually given to live.